We don't need to go into some bullshit agreement with you. If you say you can get us 2.3, get me 2.3.
Everything within Follow Up Us is tracked automatically. The report's built. We can see all the calls that are made, lead updates, all of that, right? Like all that's automatic. The only additional reporting that needs to be done is through Mojo. So Mojo is decent at the reporting as well, but it doesn't really tell 100% a clear picture. So we have them track their own metrics as well on a Google Sheet. It's very simplistic. We created a Google Sheet: calls, leads, calls, conversations, leads. They do how many LOIs that they had drafted, how many times they pitched a listing, deals under contract, right? So they track themselves, but we also track, the Mojo reports, and we track the FUB reports. And the way I kind of get updated is my VA just sends me a daily report and a weekly report, and that's it. And then once a week we essentially do a like when we do a pipeline review. I also look at the reports with them in real time, and we make adjustments as we go.
Okay, and this is just the MC dashboard that you have in the material, right? That's the same spreadsheet you're talking about.
Pretty similar, correct. But I have one that has every person's name on it at once. They fill in their own information, and they can see everybody's, and then it totals.
Do you go over that with them, or is it more so
Yes,
you just
on the weekly pipeline reviews, the last part we review is that.
And that's just once a week on like a Friday or Monday.
We do it on now we're doing it on Mondays. We've been doing it on Tuesdays, but we moved it. Now we're doing it on Mondays.
Is that one team member individual, or is it like as a group you just like knock them
No,
out?
it's as a group. It's in front of everybody. Yep, everyone's on a Zoom call or Google Meet. We review everybody's numbers, but I do one person at a time, and that's how they can leave afterwards. Once they've gone through all that information, everyone can jump off.
All right, sounds good. And then how long have you, like, as far as like that reporting process, like how have you been doing that ever since you started getting team members? Have you always tracked your own metrics? Like, what does that like look like?
Yeah,
so
I've done it almost. I mean, look, I've been doing it for probably the last 3.5, 4 years without missing a day through that. But I always tracked my numbers up until probably the last like year. Only because it's like my day has become a lot more sporadic. But no, I literally it's funny that you even mentioned it, because I literally texted my assistant, and I was like, hey, like I want to get back to tracking my own numbers and doing my to-do list differently. So like we have a meeting later to review that, just to keep me the most effective possible.
Yeah, because I mean that's something I've been struggling with recently. Is just I don't feel like I'm as effective. I don't feel like I'm getting the results that I want, but I feel like I'm constantly doing some shit.
I know.
Yeah, and it's all the fucking time.
I get it.
And I'm like, yeah. I'm not trying to vent to you here, but
no, it's all good. I mean, like we all experience it, and I think that like what I've tried to do is two things. One, it's like I'm either doing one of a handful of activities, like I've mentioned to you in the past, right? I'm either on the phones myself, I'm on a team call of some sort to review leads and make offers. I'm on the phone with one of my buyers, trying to pitch deals, negotiate deals, try to coordinate getting a showing or anything like that, right? Like my own business as well. I'm shooting content, or I'm doing something with my family, right? Like, or personally like related, right? Like I'm going to the gym, like, but that's it. I don't really do anything else. Like those are the main activities that I spend doing. You can kind of argue, fine. One last piece will be like, the coaching business / recruitment. I'm on, a handful of, coaching, either training calls, recruiting calls, and coaching sales calls. That's it. But like, it's, I guess one of those 6 activities is all I do throughout the week. And all of those things to me is like, the personal stuff. I want to do those things, and I'm sacrificing what I could be doing better in the business. Or all of those activities make me money at a high level, and I was actually going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up on which part here, because you had just asked about it actually. Yeah. So what is number 2? It was like, what is the most efficient way to build your team? So like the whole purpose of my content is for that, building a brand and, getting myself out there and teaching agents. And it's like, instead of actually creating content to attract more sales, I'm doing it to attract agents. Right? Because I want to build a team, right? So like my content would be very different if I cared about trying to generate more leads off my social media for my business. You know what I mean?
We're pretty similar in that sense. Like,
yeah,
I don't really like to get listings. I'd rather just put deals under contract and move them forward, right? Because that's where all the money making activity is. I've been sitting on an 85 unit for how long? Almost a year. I think we're going to piece it up this week or next week, which is cool. But at the same time, I don't like sitting on a fucking listing for a year. It's kind of a waste of time, and I don't feel like it's just there in the back of my mind, and I'm doing things for it, but it's not being productive until now.
Yeah.
We'll see, right? But it may not even be productive. It may have been a waste of a year of focusing on this one thing.
So look, based on my experience, and I don't think I know everything by any means. I just get, based on my experience, I get a feeling for like when I'm talking to somebody where I just go, hey, what is the likelihood? I was just talking to all my teams yesterday about this. I always look at everything and say, what is the likelihood of us transacting on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100? What's my percentage likelihood of us transacting? And if it's a certain decent percentage, we'll continue trying to make something work. But like, if it's not anywhere near, like there are sometimes you get on the phone with somebody and it's like a 1 out of 100. Like there's almost zero chance we're doing anything with this. In my opinion, I would obviously, why on planet Earth would I list that property for sale? I have people like my buddy Joe, right? Like his name's also Joe. He's like my brother, like we're like family, we've known each other a long time. And it's like, he would list that property for sale. I wouldn't. Now he likes the visibility, he likes the whatever. I don't think there's any benefit whatsoever from it. And the last time I looked at the numbers, the amount of properties that we've actually sold from a listing is like, I think we're like 1 for 7.
And by listing, you mean like full market, like on LoopNet, you're saying, not like a non-exclusive or a commission agreement.
Right. I think we've sold like 1 out of every 7 listings we've taken. I mean, like, just because like I know they're low and they're not really that motivated, right? Like it's like a lot of the time, like at least that's a lot of the people we end up listing, because everybody else who's motivated and is a fair, reasonable price, we sell off market. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. There's always like you can argue that there's a gray space where like for 80 to 600 units or 80 plus units, like you can argue that there might be there's some pros and some cons of having it on the market. And at the same time, all the seasoned big players, which still blows my fucking mind why like really high, like really successful multifamily brokers, right, still put this shit on the market. It makes no sense to me, because if you talk to any very successful group, if you bring them a deal that's on the market, they're like, what the fuck are you sending me? You know what I mean? Like, right. I'm like, why do you do that? Like, why would you not just create all this and keep it internal versus putting it actually on the market? Like, we all know that's a stupid decision. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, I still don't have an answer for that. I don't get it. Every time I've ever asked somebody, like we probably both have some friends who own thousands and thousands of units, and they're not buying anything on the market.
No, they'll get pissed off if you send them something on.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't see when a big multifamily broker, even like yourself or any level above, would ever put a property on the market. Like, where's the benefit? It's like, I already have all the buyers. Just give me an exclusive. I don't need like all the marketing material. You don't need this on LoopNet. You don't need this on any website whatsoever. You need this in front of the top 10 players who buy everything. That's what you need. Either you let me do that, or if you think dude, obviously I own a bunch of properties, but I have a property that my partner, like I've brought 35 offers to the table because we're open to the idea of selling the building. Okay. And all the offers
35 offers. 35 offers.
I've brought 35 offers. Yeah. Like an insane amount of offers to this property. Every single one of them ranges between like 1.6 to 2 million on this property. Okay. 2 million is basically where this thing is going to sell for. It's either we take it or we don't. My buddy, who I own it with, is like, hey, I was just on the phone with a broker locally, and he goes, hey, I can get you 2.3. And he's like, I think we should list it with him. I'm like, let me just be fucking clear. If he can get us 2.3, having the listing or not having the listing doesn't matter. Bring us the buyer. We don't need to go into some bullshit agreement with you. If you say you can get us 2.3, get me 2.3. But you think putting it on all these fucking websites is going to get me 2.3 million? You're out of your fucking mind. It's just not.
So in that situation, I mean, you're not signing an exclusive with that guy, right?
I'm saying my partner wants to. But again, I own a 50. I'm not one of those hyper against anything. Like I'm very calm emotionally, so like I don't get heated about much. But it's like, if he wants to do it, like, he thinks he can do better, so be it. But it's like, I've clearly explained, like, hey, like I just got you 35 offers from almost every single buyer in this local market, in the main markets, close by. It's like, where do you possibly think under by 15%? Not 3%, not 5%, but 15%? You're out of your mind.
Is this your partner, Joe, or just like a different guy that was a buyer that ended up being a partner?
No, different guy. Joe and I don't own anything. like together. But you get my point. Like it's just I'm not a fan of it. Again, you can have the marketing materials, you can put that all the stuff together. I mean, I know you have the experience. Like you shouldn't have an issue whatsoever on any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, if you're
Yeah.
trying to sell a 400 unit, in a great market, Class A, like might be a little bit more difficult, but because you're probably competing with the other top players. But anything smaller in your main markets, you're probably going to crush. You know?
Yeah, and I really don't want to do that. I really just would rather make $200,000 a month with this and then just buy more properties and turn it more into like an acquisitions company that brokers, like
Yeah.
some of
So
the other big guys who are doing this.
yeah, I mean, like, look, man, it's what I toy with my whole life. I know that if I can just keep doing 200 plus, plus or minus a month consistently for a long time, and don't make any stupid decisions and spend my money right and invest in the best deals per year that are maybe two or three or four or five of those right every year that are halfway decent. We try, we take a more of an equity position and we just do that for the next 30 or 40 years. It's impossible to fuck up. And there's a part of me that goes, I can be doing 1 million a month or 2 million a month or 5 million a month. I can do that. I can give CBRE a run for their money. Like I have that possible. I have that potential. Now, I believe that. I could be completely fucking wrong. I just think I'm naive enough to think I can. And it's gotten me this far, and I think I can get to, 1 million or 2 million a month, and maybe at that point it'll be enough for me to say, fuck it, I don't really care about the brokerage business anymore, and we'll just stay, and as long as we can hold steady, I don't really care. But I haven't hit a point yet where I'm content.
Yeah, that's something that I'm kind of battle with too. It's like, okay, I know that I can get to $200,000 a month, but really, I want to be making 1 million a month, 2 million a month. Like, I don't want there to be a cap of, okay, 10 years straight, I've made $200,000 a month. Like, I don't want to fucking do that.
And at the same time, make it for a period of time and say that. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Sure.
it's the same. Like again, like for me, I've been making between 100 and 300 ish a month for a good period of time, and like based on my lifestyle, it actually isn't enough. Right. So it's like, and what I want to accomplish and all those things. So, like, I think at 1 million a month, I might say otherwise. Honestly, I don't know. Like, when I do that and I hit it it's not one of those things where, like, you hit it once and you fucking pop bottles and bullshit. Like, for me, I'm like, I'm always more excited. Like, can I do that consistently for a year? And if I can do it consistently for a year, I'll assess. And honest to God, I think that might, like, I've run some numbers based on what my lifestyle looks like with my wife and say, like, hey, like, at 1 million a month, we get to do almost everything we want. I can invest the amount of money I want. I can live the lifestyle that I desire. Like all the things check, like all those boxes are checked. So like at that point, I might say like, hey, maybe it makes sense to throw somebody into the business at $1 million a year just as a COO and run it. You know what I mean? And like slowly grow it and maintain it versus it needs to be infinitely larger every year. You know what I mean? I don't know that answer. But all I can say, which is 100% fact, if you just maintained 100 plus thousand dollars a month in net income and you didn't spend like a moron, and you invest it appropriately in a handful of deals every year out of the dozens you sell, and you did that consistently for decades, not 5 years, but decades, which is not fucking simple to do. If you just did that for a couple decades straight, you'd probably be in a very wonderful position financially after, 2, 3, 4 decades. But the difference is actually doing it and actually being that consistent. So like you and I can talk all day, but it's like actually doing it is different, right? Because the ebbs and flows in markets are not easy. So like arguing the point of saying, hey, making 200 grand a year for 10 years straight, or sorry, 200 grand a month net for 10 years straight.
Right.
It's actually
Yeah.
fucking crazy, to be honest with you. With like, the ups and downs of what the market will do and everything else in life. I mean, like, it's not a lot of people can say that they've been doing that. And now, again, I know you're an ambitious guy, so I'm not telling you not to shoot for more, but I am saying like, hey, like, let's do that consistently for 1 year. Then you get to make adjustments and say, hey, am I content or am I not content? Right?